For lesson 91, we're going to be talking about geometric formulas. So here we're going to look at some figures, some polygons, perimeter, and area, and how to find them. If you look at a square, with a square, all we need to know is one side. If we know one side, we should be able to find the perimeter and the area. Okay? So we can take the perimeter is going to equal 4 times whatever that side is. So if that side is 2, we just do 4 times 2 because there's 4 sides, and that would cover all the distances around the square. Okay? So the formula for perimeter of a square is P equals 4S. Now to find the area, all we need to do is take that side and square it, or multiply it by itself. So A is going to equal side squared. Now if we look at the rectangle, we need to know the length and the width. So our perimeter is going to equal 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Where our area for the rectangle, all we need to do is take the length times the width. Okay? Those are review. Now if we look at the parallelogram, we have to think about a couple different things. We know our height is from the bottom base to the top base. We might need to know our base. We also are going to need to know our sides. So for the perimeter of a parallelogram, what we're going to do is we're going to take 2 times the base plus 2 times the side. So just like the rectangle where they use width, we're going to use the side. We're not even going to use the height for perimeter. We're just going to take 2 times the base plus 2 times the side. When we find the area, we need to take the base times the height, or that number from one base to the other. So the perimeter of a parallelogram is 2 times the base plus 2 times the side. Area of the parallelogram is base times height. Now for a triangle, for the perimeter, we're just going to take side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3. We're going to add up the 4 sides. For the area, we're going to take 1/2 times the base times the height, or base times height divided by 2. Okay, we talked about how those are the same. Now pretty much all this should be review. And if we look at the bottom here, it says since squares and rectangles are also parallelograms, the formulas for the perimeter and area of the parallelogram can also be used for the square and the rectangle. Okay? Just some helpful information. Now, if you think you might get confused, it might be a good idea to copy this chart down. Okay? So if you think you need to copy this down, it is in your book, but if you want a little cheat sheet, go ahead, pause the video, copy it down. So our example says write the formula for perimeter of a rectangle, then substitute 8 centimeters for the length, 5 centimeters for the width, and then solve the equation to find P. So the formula for perimeter of a rectangle is P equals 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Okay? So I'm looking for P, so I don't know the perimeter, 2 times the length, which is 8, plus 2 times the width, which is 5. Okay, now I can solve. Order of operations. My label should be centimeters. Remember, perimeter is just a distance, so it's just centimeters, not square or anything. Okay? Now, if it asks me to find the area and write the formula, remember the area for a rectangle is length times width. So all I do is plug in 8 for L, 5 for W for the width, 8 equals 40 centimeters squared. Okay? Because as in your practice set, they're going to ask you to find the area, they might ask you to find the perimeter. Okay? I also included letter C, find the perimeter and area of the triangle to the right. Okay? Make sure if you have any questions on this, you bring it to class. Hopefully this should be a review, and that we get that we just need to plug in those numbers for the letters they represent.